Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 20th edition of the No Stipulations podcast. I've been doing this for 5 months now? Jesus Christ. I'm Logan, here with my co-host for the day, Andrew. Say hi.
Yo, what's up, guys?
He is here, and he is ready to talk about his favorite blondes. That's what he's here for.
Anytime that my favorite blondes appear on screen, I can talk about it for hours.
Oh, believe me, he can. Trust me. I've experienced this before. He can talk about his favorite blondes for hours. But yeah, we're gonna go over the last week of WWE programming from Smackdown on June 13th, excuse me, to NXT this recent Tuesday. So, Andrew, get us started.
So, SmackDown kicked off in Lexington, and we got to start the night off with John Cena, as typical for WWE recently. And he did the same usual spiel for him. Basically, it was like lifting off his Mount Rushmore of wrestling, but decided to drop his name 4 different times. Typical stuff, making fun of the crowd and all that.
I'm getting sick of him getting the announcers to re-announce him. Like, we get it, man.
Yeah, that part, I get what they're going for, but it's just at this point that stick is done, that spiel is over with.
You would
Let's
think
just
the
move
ring
on
announcers
from
would
it.
have picked up on it by now.
Yeah, it makes the ring announcers look a little more dumb than it makes John Cena look more heel. So we could probably do away with that. Let's move past that. But basically goes this big old day, says everything that's been going on, he's planned the whole time. That you know, and nothing's gonna worry from his plan. Calls CM Punk a hypocrite. Said he wants to take the title. Says Seth won't cash in on him. Says that there's no one ever worthy to earn the right to hold the title again. Basically, we're getting all the big names out there to tie everyone into this big story. And out comes Cody Rhodes, coming out here to save the day. Calls him out for that. Oh, you have everything planned. He's like, oh, so you planned to get pinned last week. Well, here come all the big names. Then Randy's music comes out. And basically, he wasn't wrong. Came out and said that he was going to beat Cena. Like, he literally was going to end him by kicking him in the head.
He was going to punt kick the shit out of him.
He was going to punt kick the shit out of him. And he was going to beat Cena and got saved by R-Truth. And then stares at Cody and says that, hey, I'm going to get number 15. If I have to go through you, I'm going to go through you.
All this is just... All this is just leading to the Ted DiBiase Jr. return.
All this is leading to is we're gonna get. Oh my god! Anyway,
isn't he still
I don't
in
need to
prison?
Legacy. I think so. I think he's living his life in prison right now. But then it was like, hey, Cody, like I love you like a brother, but if I have to go through you, I'm gonna go through you. And then LA Knight's music hits, and I'm glad that with him losing Money in the Bank, they're involving him in this storyline because
Get
now
him
I want
out
to
of
see
the
him.
bloodline vortex.
He is finally moving on from it, and I think this is a big moment for LA Knight. But LA Knight comes down the ring. He's like, I understand what it is that he's the sore thumb sticking out, and he likes that way. Calls Cena a cheating bitch, and then says he's gonna win King of the Ring to get him. And Cena walks down the ramp, and before you think that's it, oh no, here comes Ron Killings to beat his ass. And it's fantastic. We're getting everyone coming out at once for this big story. This actually feels the best Cena's heel run has felt the entire time is where we're at with right now.
Yeah, because it finally feels like he's got someone standing in his way.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. It's building up King of the Ring. It's building up all these competitors, and I can do more of this. We can do less of the ring announcing stuff and more of this with John Cena's heel run, and I'm all for it.
Right, because when he came back from commercial and he was just yelling at Aldis, he flipped the baseball cap back. That might be the most moved I've been by this heel move.
That was awesome, and if I remember correctly, there wasn't even any audio during all this. It was just them yelling. It was just him yelling, and it was awesome. Also, side tangent. Nick Aldis makes Cena look like a little bitch. Nick Aldis is huge. I did not realize how tall that motherfucker was until he was sitting next to Cena.
Hey, 6'4".
So, but yeah, that was a good segue, and then we get
Cena's
our King of the
6'1".
Ring, get our
Cena's
King of the Ring
6'1".
qualifier right after that. Is he really?
Yeah.
Well, Nick Aldis makes him look a little small, but Nick Aldis just
Huge.
Nick Aldis. So,
Yeah,
um,
King of the Ring qualifier. We heard Knight call his shot, but yeah, Seth's group cost him that match. Bronson grabbed him out of the ring. Braun broke him in half. Mello, he climbed the turnbuckle at the end, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh my God, is it gonna happen?" But no. Then Randy hit him with an RKO on the way down, and he pinned LA Knight for the win.
as much as everyone wants to see Mello win, I think Randy was the right choice here because if you're gonna, but the issue with King of the Ring, I feel like the men's side especially, is it's getting used to push storylines instead of
Right.
building someone up. And I
Long-term
don't know.
storytelling.
Yeah,
Brother.
we're using men's Money in the Bank for long term story and men's King of the Ring for long term storytelling, and we'll just guess we'll see how that turns out.
This is part of the reason why the women's division is killing them.
Yeah, because they're using more like the women's division is just they're utilizing more women for everything, and I appreciate that more. And it's like the men's division is stuck in this vortex. Like LA Knight being introduced into the main event scene finally
Thank
is
God.
newer, but like it's usually the same group of guys. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we see a change in this eventually. But I think we got to get through the John Cena heel turn before that ever starts to happen.
See you in January.
Yeah, and so we take that and we turn to the actually I think the best feud in the men's division right now, which is the Jacob Fatu feud.
Ugh.
Gives
I
a
don't know
great
about that.
yeah, I understand your feeling towards it, but I am really happy where this feud is at right
But the
now.
best
Even
feud in the men's division?
yeah, I mean, which one do you think is better right now? It's the best one right now.
Oh God,
It is.
that's alarming.
And he comes out, says that family doesn't mean you can go behind your back, gives a great Jacob Fatu promo like he always gives his
Oh,
clear
gas,
cut line,
no brakes. Yada me.
and then Solo was on the big screen, and JC
He looks so
looks
stupid.
absolutely ridiculous behind him.
The bloodline
It is
aura
the
did not translate.
he does not it was hilarious. I could not take Solo seriously because JC in the background just looked so dumb.
He looked like the alien from Signs.
But basically came out and said that no one wanted Solo. He brought him to WWE, which is true. And then basically said that Solo is where he is because of that Jacob is where he is because of Solo, and that he will forgive Jacob, but the following SmackDown has to tell Solo his four favorite words. I love you, Solo.
Yeah, sure. That's not gonna happen.
No, it's gonna turn into a brawl. I bet this leads to maybe I think it's going to lead to Tongaloa and returning at some point to help Jacob Fatu. I think, but we'll see. I'm interested where this feud's at right now.
What?
I'm enjoying it.
Who are the next 7 Samoans that are gonna debut?
I don't even
At a certain point.
at a certain point, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa are going to return at some point. I don't remember the guy's name who debuted at the beginning of SmackDown.
Hikuleo?
Yes, I think he ends up siding with Solo. That's what I'm guessing.
God
And then
almighty.
maybe Zilla Fatu at some point, but I'm not sure.
6 years down the line, people
But
are still 6 years down the line, people are still calling for Roman Reigns to appear to help his family, and he just isn't.
he's too busy making a Street Fighter movie. I believe is what he's working on right now.
Man, I have no idea. Let me go to the GM. Secret Harvest. They have Chelsea on the phone to speak to Aldous, and she can't make it. She's not on her flight. She says, "Hey, Nikki, can you postpone my match until next week?" And Aldous says, "Nah, Alba Fire can have your place." And Piper actually left the phone with Aldous as Zelina comes in, mutes Chelsea, and demands Julia, but she's not here. Aldous is tired, and I think we all know where that U.S. title is going next.
Yeah. The
Sorry,
as
Zelina.
much as I'm happy Zelina Vega's finally getting her flowers. She is definitely a transition champion for that title right now. And it needs to be on Julia. I get that Zelina's been working hard for the spot, but right now the feud's just going nowhere. You put it back on Julia, it makes it more interesting. And I think that is a good way to start going with this division, because right now the IC title is stomping the US title, and so we got to give the US title some love in order for it to compete with the IC back on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, never underestimate how much Triple H will try to get a wrestler over when he loves them. Julia will be over, or that man will die.
Yes, Julia could still be getting no cheers, and she will still be a women's world champion at some point. That
Which I
he loves
also I
Julia.
just don't see that happening.
No, I don't. I
They're
think
gonna get
the
they're gonna get
Julia
her.
Julia is had a hard time when she came in. I also think that her debut kind of got overlooked by Stephanie coming in shortly after that too. And Stephanie, as we all know, with her Devil's Kiss, is absolutely over the moon with the fan base right now.
Thanks, Booker.
But that leads us to our King of the Ring qualifier. Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven versus Nia Jax versus Meechin. Everyone knew who was going to win this match off the rip. There was no, I don't think anyone thought that there was a chance anyone but Jade Cargill win.
I thought there was a
But,
chance Nia stole a win. It's a 4-woman
uh,
match.
but Piper,
Piper?
Piper
Piper
and Nia
Niven.
through Jade. And then Piper sent Nia through the barricade and hit Misha with the Vader bomb. And then Jada came back to life and ended up pinning Piper for the win.
Dude,
I
did you see
thought
they hit Wade when they threw
I did
Jade
see.
into the
I
death?
remember that they threw Jade, and we all had the conversation talking about how
Oh, Wade,
we.
no! Man down!
Oh, Joey, I love the commentators. They do such a good job.
Oh, my God.
Um, I think this is perfect for Jade. I still, as much as it pains me to say it, I think Jade's winning Queen of the Ring. Not that I don't like Jade, but we'll get to the reason why I don't want Jade to win Queen of the Ring. But um, yeah, I think it was a good match. I mean, Jade is. I think Jade, from when she first debuted to now, looks absolutely phenomenal. And Nia is always putting on good matches right now, which is a shock to me. But
Yeah,
I was happy with this match.
Nia's definitely improved from
She has.
from her return onward.
I think that right now she's our current women's world champion. She's put on the best match with Tiffy. So
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
think
say
Nia's.
that. I remember people were upset they were running Nia and Tiffany again. Then they put on a hell of a match.
Yeah, like I get that. I get where the frustration comes from with Nia and Tiffy again, because it gets to that point where it's like with Rhea and Liv, how it's the same thing over and over again. But Rhea and Liv
Had
always put on a great match.
yeah,
Nia and Tiffy always put on great matches, and I think that right now we need filler feuds to get round out to what's eventually going to happen, which is Naomi cashing in on Tiffy.
right. Or whoever dethrones Tiffy instantly losing the title.
Yeah,
Speaking of Naomi, her segment's next. She actually calls out Tiffany for repeatedly stopping her from winning the title last year. She's here for payback. She calls her shot. Tiffany's music plays, and she tells Naomi, "Do it right now. Cash in on me this second." And Naomi doesn't do it, and Tiffany says, "Oh, you're still the same Naomi. All talk, no action." And Naomi says, "I'll cash in when you least expect it," as if that's not the goal of every single Money in the Bank winner. TikTok, Tiffy. And then from behind, Nia Jax attacks Tiffany, and Naomi goes to in with the briefcase, but they go back and forth until Nia drops Tiffany, hits the Annihilator. Naomi runs in with the briefcase, but Nia tells her to get out, which, like, what are you doing, man? You have the briefcase.
To me, this makes no sense. Number one, why does Nia care if Tiffany gets cashed in on? Like, there's some storylines where it makes sense, but if you hate Tiffany so much, let Naomi take the title off of her. Like, that's what I would think you would do.
No, but the long-term storytelling.
I will say Naomi handled the what chance perfectly.
You heard me.
She was a perfect line because I hate the what chance. I think the WWE crowd doesn't understand what the what chance originally used for, and it is just.
But I'll tell you what pisses me off the most when someone like a Julia or a Stephanie or somebody who isn't the strongest with English is trying to cut a promo and they keep saying what? Like, shut up.
And when you do it to faces too, it's like you're not supposed to do it to your faces. It's supposed to be done to your heels.
Right, like do that shit to Dominic.
And crowds just do the what chance just to do the what chance, but it's
American crowds.
Yeah, it's just whatever. But this sets up arguably the best men's division right now.
Oh yeah.
The Smackdown tag division, DIY doing their typical thing, trying to get everyone else to fight the Wyatts, but they don't want to fight the Wyatts. Let's let everyone else handle it. Motor City Machine Guns says, "Hey, we'll set the tone tonight. We're gonna face the Wyatts tonight." Leads to a pretty rough match.
It was not the worst thing I've ever seen, but you could tell that they were rusty.
You could tell they were rusty. I think that they were nervous. I believe that before this tag match, so before they left previously, it's been a while since they had wrestled. You could probably tell they didn't put as much time at the performance center as they should have. It wasn't a horrible match. I've seen worse, but you could tell like we need to get them in the ring more, or we need to get them performing more because it's just. There's also they need to work on their chemistry. I just feel like right now I think there's just a lot of nerves surrounding this because if the Wyatt Six doesn't stick, this faction's dead, and so I think that there's just a lot of nerves going. But it was Loomis and Gacy for the Wyatts. Their first match I think in a year. And like we said, it was sloppy. I think what was it when he went to pin him, but didn't realize that he wasn't supposed to pin him yet.
Yeah.
But the Wyatts went off a leg drop from Loomis off the top rope. I mean, they still won. It just was just rusty.
Get him working again.
And I'm not worried about one rusty match. Like it happens. I think that you.
I mean, they debuted like a year ago last week.
Yeah. I think that you also took a risk not letting Rowan in this match. I think if Rowan's in this match, he could pace. He's the veteran of that group, and I think that it would have helped with the ring rust. But they'll get better with time. You just have to. It needs to happen.
Yeah, but I do think they want Rowan as like the middle card bruiser guy, whereas they want Loomis and Gacy in the tag division of this group.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that showed like, hey, Gacy and Loomis are gonna have to work on their chemistry together, and they will.
I think you just give them a little time.
Yeah, great. They're great wrestlers, and I always loved Dexter Loomis. I didn't know a ton about Gacy until the YS6 really started becoming a thing. But I'm excited to see. I'm excited they're getting in ring time and that they're actually being pushed into a division instead of just picking off Chad Gable and trying to kill him.
Because why did they spend like a month trying to murder Chad Gable, man?
It was something else, but that leads. I think that leads to backstage. We had another, which actually, we got a lot of Cena promos this week, and I was pretty happy about that. Like Cena was in doing stuff a lot this week.
Yeah, he was busy.
He was when he saw Jimmy. Says, "I know you're close with R-Truth." Asked if he's seen him. Jimmy says no. Asked if he's seen Ron Killings. Jimmy said no. John says, "Tell him I'll meet him in the ring."
Yeah, and then
And we
coming
need to.
back from commercial, he runs back out to the ring. Says, "This is too much disrespect for me to tolerate." He tells Truth he crossed some lines. Get out here and fight me right now. And then CM Punk's music hits. He tells Cena, "You're giving me the chance in front of this. I'm giving you the chance in front of this town to stop what you're doing, to let them celebrate you, your sacrifices, to let them put you on a pedestal and give them a happy ending." Cena asks, "Why would I waste my time?" Punk says, "Fine, we'll do it your way." And he tells the viewing audience it's about to get real. And here's the truth: you can't beat me. When you're at your best, you never could. I'm here to save wrestling. Oh, brother. He says Cena is dressed like a toddler who struck out in T-ball. Ouch.
It was so funny. A guy died laughing.
And he says, "I want that joke stricken from the record because I sound like Peachy Cena. And you, John, you sound like CM Punk. Gonna take the belt and walk away?"
Spitting nothing but facts right now.
And he says, so you are the goat that I will spit roast and sacrifice to the gods of wrestling." Oh my god.
Legendary line. Punk is absolutely just torching Cena right now.
Yeah, his Mount Rushmore is Eddie Guerrero, Terry Funk, Bret Hart, and Harley Race, I think.
Yeah, I believe that's who he said. Which, honestly, some pretty legendary pulls from Punk, if I don't.
Yeah. He says, "I see." He said, "You can't see me. I see through you, and it's always have, and that's the truth." And then Ron attacks Cena and puts him in the STF, and Punk is on the apron shouting, "I'm sorry," like Cena did at Elimination Chamber.
Such a great segment.
God.
If this somehow doesn't lead to R-Truth beating him, I'm gonna be upset. Like, you can't have R-Truth do this big promo reveal, beat the shit out of Cena 2 times in a row, and then lose.
Yeah. And then an interview. You can take this one.
We get Byron interviewing the Queen, the Goddess, the 5 Feet of Fury, and the absolute just best thing about SmackDown, Alexa Bliss.
This is one of his favorite blondes.
Asked her about her mindset in the Queen of the Ring, and like in typical fashion, Alexa fashion, she's not worried. She's won it before. She's not rattled. She's time to remind everyone who she is and win Queen of the Ring. Absolutely, totally, 100%. You just win it, Queen. You're the best. Just do your thing. And we get Charlotte, who cuts in. There's only room for one Queen in this division. Well, Charlotte, Alexa's already there, so you better pack your stuff up and leave. And then this leads to Charlotte making her entrance and Alexa cutting her entrance off before the pyro can even go off. Absolutely phenomenal. Give her more screen time. She is literally the best thing about SmackDown.
Oh, I know how you feel about her.
Best thing about SmackDown, by far.
Backstage, Aldis runs in. He asks Ron, he's like, "Hey, what can I do to get you to stop this?" And Killing says, "I want him next week." And Aldis says, "Sure, man. You got it." So we're getting John Cena wrestling on TV next week.
And that's a crazy on a non-pay-per-view show. I'm all for it. Now, we better get R-Truth better win. If he doesn't win, then this whole thing makes no sense of him, becoming Ron Killings. So hopefully he wins. I think he does. Gonna be a good match. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, they need to let him do his thing instead of doing the Cena moves the whole time.
Yes.
They better get more than 5 minutes this time.
And then arguably the best match of the night.
All right,
Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Alba Fire versus Candice LeRae was actually a banger. Alba Fire and Candice LeRae did phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with them. Alba actually looked really strong here when Charlotte locked in the figure 8. I think everyone thought she was gonna tap and Charlotte was gonna move on. But then the camera pans, Alexa hits Sister Abigail and Candice and got the win, which then Alba tapped out immediately after. Alexa advances. She needs to win Queen of the Ring. Let her win Queen of the Ring. Let her win everything. Let her beat Tiffy. And I don't even care if she makes Naomi have a bad cash in. I know that's going to be the obvious. Everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Nah, man. Alexa to the moon. Give her both titles. Give her all the titles. I don't care less about the division if she has all the titles. She is the best thing about SmackDown. That's all. That's all I got. I mean, that's just point blank serious.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's been too long since I really think it's been too long since Alexa has been in the main event scene and held the world champion. I don't think that WWE views her as that main event head star like they did before when she did her goddess persona. And from an actual standpoint, I think Queen of the Ring is great for her. I don't think she's gonna win it. I'm like very confident Jade Cargill is gonna win it. But
I think you would splooge your pants if
I would
Alexa won Queen of the Ring.
if Alexa Bliss won Queen of the Ring, I would have splooged my pants 100%. I would literally bow down Triple H and say thank you. All of your past miswrongings, I could forgive. You are forgiven. You are the greatest booker I've ever seen. I'll give you my firstborn. Like that's all. That's all there is to it.
Anyway,
Then we go to backstage.
Yeah. Punk catches Cody as he's walking in, and Cody says, "Yeah, man, we can't run forever." Punk says, "Wish you luck, and after Night of Champions, we'll see who's chasing who." Then we go to the King of the Ring qualifier. Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Cody got put through a table in the middle of the match, and I swear to God, they said snapped into a Slim Jim table. Are we just going to start getting table spots for the sponsors? Like,
you got to. Wait till the steel chairs have sponsors on them.
What would that even be, though?
They're going to be a Ford logo and it's just say steel chair built tough.
Oh, brother. He's like, his stomach, his skull wasn't built Ford tough, but that chair sure is. God, I hate this. They need to explode TKO.
It ain't going nowhere. We're about to have logos on every piece of. We're about to have logos on kendo sticks, bro. It's gonna happen.
Again, what would the sponsor be?
The kendo stick? I don't even know. I don't even know what the kendo stick sponsor would be, but it's gonna happen. I'm ready for the day that they set up the steel cage to like where all the links, if you zoom out, look like a logo.
Oh my God! Don't put that out there.
It's going to happen. And everyone just needs to prepare for it.
Don't put that out into the world. Because they'll do it. Don't give them ideas. Yeah, Cody got back up later. He started wiping dudes out. Shinsuke hit a Kinshasa, which nearly won the match. Andrade hit that back elbow in the message on Priest. Cody hit a cutter on both men. Slipped out of a Razor's Edge. Hit a top shelf Cody cutter to Damian. Crossroads to Andrade, but Shinsuke put Cody in a headlock. Cody counters into another crossroads and advances.
Yeah, this, I guess, not a bad match. It's a great match, but this is like where my issue with King of the Ring for the men's is right now, is because Cody doesn't need to win King of the Ring. He shouldn't need to win it, but they're doing it to push a storyline. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I feel like Damian Priest probably should have won here. Damian Priest, since coming to SmackDown, ended Drew McIntyre. Basically, kayfabe sent him out on injury, and we haven't seen. I mean, he hasn't done anything after it. So, but they want to push the Cody feud. They're gonna have Cody. What did you say? Cody was gonna beat Randy, and then yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is. Is Cody facing Randy or is Cody facing Sammy?
Cody
faces Jay.
Randy faces Sammy. Cody faces Jay. So it's an all-face semifinals.
Randy's turning heel. Randy is turning heel. It's going to happen. Randy's going to turn heel when he loses to Cody in the finals to realize he has to turn heel to finally win a championship again.
And then he still loses because the heel retirement tour.
Yes.
But that was SmackDown. We only spent 30 minutes on that this time.
I think that was 15 minutes less than last time.
That's a very low bar to pass. Oh, God. On to Raw in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Liv, honestly, we didn't realize. I kind of knew, but I didn't realize how much of an impact Liv had on the division until this Raw. And like I said, we'll get to that point. But Liv and Dom come out, remind everyone that this is Liv's division. Makes fun of Nikki for being at home because she sent her home, hurt her. Makes fun of Nikki for saying that Nikki paved the way, but no one paved the way for Liv but Liv. Not asking for respect anymore. She's demanding it. And then it's like calling in that thing that only a few people get. I need my rematch clause, that champion rematch clause I never got. Since we handpick who gets that. And of course, when you call someone's name out, their music has to hit. Io comes out. She's over. Trips, if you don't start booking Io on fucking TV,
Dude, she hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania.
She is so over. Like the crowd chanting for Io, she's so over. Like just all you have to do is just put her in matches. You did it with Jay, just put her in matches. That's all you have to do.
He's forcing it with Jay too. At least Io can wrestle.
She gets to the ring, tells Liv to shut it. Absolutely love it. Calls her a disrespecting idiot. Basically says, if you want to fight me, I'm right here. Liv just wants the title handed to her. Says that. Honestly, I need to look this up. I think that Liv actually has the best record against Io, which is honestly a fair point. Io cuts a great line where she's like, "You got to earn it. You can't steal like you stole Dom." Dom tries to cut a promo. The crowd doesn't let him. Tells Io to give it up to Liv, like he gives her everything. Io tossed the title at Liv, drop kicks her, and then kicks Dom in the back of the head of also. Great way to start Raw. Finally, our champion's getting TV screen. She's over. She's over more than anyone else, I think, right now, besides Rhea. Book her more. Book her more. She needs to be on TV more.
Well, you kind of might not have a choice after what happened later today.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Queen of the Ring qualifier, Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile versus the returning Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, versus
absolutely
Raquel Rodriguez.
So glad Asuka's back.
Yeah, after commercial, Liv tells Raquel, get out there and go win. There was a point where Stephanie was trying to hit Devil's Kiss, and then she got thrown out of the ring, but she was still on the apron, and she pulled Raquel up onto the apron and still hit it.
Devil's Kiss on the hardest part of the ring.
My God.
Love it.
Should have been me. But at the end, Rhea pulled Raquel off of Stephanie, hit her with a riptide, and Asuka won off the Empress Impact, pinning Raquel. Yep. I believe that is a new finisher for her.
Asuka's new finisher is her throwing her ass at people, and I'm all for it.
Should have been me. Post-match, Asuka screams into the mic, "The fire is not dead! The fire is still alive! No one is ready for Asuka!" Yeah,
and
girl.
I'm so happy
Get it, girl.
Asuka's back. I was pleasantly surprised that she won over Stephanie. I thought Stephanie was going to win this, but I should have known that we're not going to book Asuka's return with her losing.
Right. You can't do that for two Japanese stars.
I 100% think she's going to beat Alexa. I'm so sad to say it. I think she's going to beat Alexa. Because I think Charlotte's going to cost Alexa. And I think that Asuka is going to put Jade over in the final. Or maybe Asuka beats Jade and we get Io versus Asuka.
Oh, God.
Maybe a possibility.
Oh, God. Night 1 SummerSlam main event. Heel Asuka versus face Io. Oh.
It's going to be great. It could be.
I feel like Corey when he saw Asuka in the Rumble a few years back. Yes!
Corey, by the way, Corey Graves.
Oh, dude, Corey was fantastic.
Fantastic.
No Pat McAfee. Corey Graves appears, does his thing. Keep him there. Send Pat McAfee back to ESPN permanently.
Then we had a Judgment Day segment. Raquel's icing her neck. We got Carlito's PlayStation playing in the background with no Carlito.
They made him send it back.
Liv says that it's time to talk strategy, but basically Raquel's like, I'm not medically cleared, so Liv storms off.
My neck.
JD starts complaining about his match with AJ. Finn says that he'll have his back, and then Dom basically is like, hey, you didn't take care of AJ, so I don't think it's a good idea for you to be out there. Doesn't make sense. at all because he's not actually in the match. He's just out there to help, but whatever. Finn glared, says, "Hey Dom, then you go out there with JD." Um, Finn tries to comfort Raquel, but Raquel can kind of tell that he's scheming and that he's being two-faced about it, and tells Roxanne that they have a plan to help Liv, which we never see, unfortunately. Yeah, but overall, even though everyone's ready for the Finn Balor turn on Judgment Day. One thing I will say about Judgment Day segments is they're always entertaining. I don't think I've seen a bad Judgment Day segment.
Yeah. Moving on to a not great segment. Gunther is out in the ring. He says, "I'll admit, Jay was a better man at Mania, but only that night. Every other night, he's untouchable." And he looks at the camera. The crowd is chanting, "Goldberg." And he says, "I'm not dealing with Bill." He talks to Seth directly through the camera. He says, "Dude, I'm right here. Come on. Bring the briefcase. Cash in on me. Do it. Do it. Goldberg." His music hits. And he's here to celebrate Gunther winning. And I'm here to talk about what you started at Bad Blood in Georgia last year. I'm here to finish it in Atlanta. Saturday night's main event on July 12th. What the why?
Let's give the title back to Gunther to then not give him a match until a month later.
Dude, I saw a tweet that went over Gunther's last few opponents, and it just depressed the hell out of me. Let me see if I can
I will say, there's only one way that this actually is a good thing for Gunther. If
Squash
Gunther
match.
Taps him out, squashes him.
6 seconds.
If you make this a 2-minute match and Gunther just squashes him, I'm okay with it. I will be okay with it if he just squashes him.
It's not going over 5 minutes one way or the other.
The problem is I thought Goldberg was going to have a squash match with the Fiend when he fought the Fiend.
Well, he did.
And he did. Unfortunately, it was not the squash match
anyone expected. Okay, yeah.
But,
here is every Gunther opponent in 2025. Jey Uso, Tozawa, Otis, Axiom, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Pat McAfee, Jey Uso, Goldberg. What are we doing?
And the craziest part
is
the
best match was with Axiom.
Was with Axiom.
The only reason I'll ever appreciate Goldberg being on TV is because it brings back the Big E video.
Yes.
Y'all watch your 30-minute classics? Y'all watch your 5-star matches?
And this did lead to a great tweet from Gunther, who says, "I gotta face Goldberg. I got 3 minutes to spare."
Goldberg would have
hilarious.
Goldberg would have thrived on WWE speed.
Hilarious. But
God, why?
Everyone knew this was coming. It's a filler feud because everything is so centered around John Cena right now. The only person who could win King of the Ring and not be involved in the John Cena feud is Sami Zayn, and it's just not going to happen. Sami Zayn has the feud with Cross. There's no one for Gunther to feud with right now. There's no one. I hope that the reason why this is me holding on to happiness in the air. The reason why we're pushing the Goldberg match until a month later is because Ilya is going to return in a month, and he's going to be the feud with Gunther. That's what hope I'm holding on to. It's the only person on Raw who can feud with Gunther right now.
Oh, buddy, you poor thing. You don't realize we're getting Jay versus Gunther 6.
No, it's not. I wholeheartedly believe.
You want to bet?
I wholeheartedly believe Jay is going to go back with Jimmy and go after the New Day. Wholeheartedly believe that.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
But let me go backstage to our new women's tag team, the Dungeon Dolls. If I told you that name,
you skipped a segment.
Oh, I did skip a segment.
You forgot AJ versus JD presented by Cash App.
I forgot it was presented by Cash App. We're presenting matches by Cash App now, and
God
so I'm going to
almighty.
present them off my mind because I don't want to see this. This match it's just AJ and JD put on a great match, but it's just the same old stuff.
Usual
AJ
Judgment Day
wins after
interference.
judgment, and then Dom tries to attack him. Finn comes out, saves Dom. AJ hoists the title as the Judgment Day surround him. Judgment Day is somehow the only faction that can have the numbers game and always lose. And then AJ walks away with the belt. If I would have told you it was AJ versus JD match, you could have guessed exactly how it would have happened, and you'd be right.
Oh yeah. Now what were
Great
you?
match.
It was a good match. But I mean, it's the normal nonsense of the Judgment Day.
Normal nonsense.
Now, what were you saying about the Dungeon Dolls?
Yeah, if I were to tell you the Dungeon Dolls, you would never be able to guess who that tag team was made of, because it's made of Natalia and Maxine Dupree. They are now called the Dungeon Dolls. I I don't know why. I don't know why we made this team, because there's no way they ever win the tag titles.
Well, it's because you got to get Maxine with someone with experience.
I get it, and Maxine has had a huge transit. Like, from when I was ready for her to feud with Ivy. I want that to happen already. And like, her performance in the Royal Rumble last year was awesome. She did a great job. Great. You can tell she's been putting in the work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Maxine lives in the wrong era of women's wrestling. She would be a perfect, because I think Chelsea Green talked about this on a podcast, how Chelsea and Maxine live in a world where actually the Divas Championship fits them perfectly. That's what Chelsea came out and said.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. And obviously, as a man, I don't think it's my place to argue anything about the women's divisions. But the Divas Championship, until a certain point, I feel like wasn't treated as an actual title.
No, it was treated as a joke until a certain point.
AJ Lee.
And I completely agree with that. I think that it would be. I don't think it ever should come back. I just think that
put it on Kaiser.
When you hear Divas Champion, and you would put it around someone like Maxine or Chelsea Green, then it makes more sense. It doesn't make sense on someone like Rhea Ripley, because they don't have that more. It's weird to say feminine, like super feminine side, like the
right
super like bratty side, like that you would see in like a Mean Girl type thing. So, but anyway,
moving on.
Off tangent.
Moving on before we start talking about something we don't know about.
Yeah. And then Bailey Walsh passed with Grayson Theory or arguing and New Day, and
break up.
Break him up already.
Break
him up already.
It's like your sister's. It's like your sister dating a terrible boyfriend. Just break up already.
Yeah,
I can't
watch
hearing
about it. Just break up.
Stop complaining to me. Just leave him. God. Then we go Bailey. She walks out, immediately jabs at Cole, which I love. I'm glad that now they're on the same brand. I'm glad they're doing this again. Just Bailey making fun of Michael Cole. She says, wrestling is what's most important to me. Becky, you stripped an opportunity from me 2 months ago. I don't do this for the moments at the championships or even just WrestleMania. I do it for nights like tonight, for people like the ones in the crowd. Being taken out's only made me stronger. Being a couple rungs below Becky has always bothered her. So you get your ass right here. And Becky comes out. They go back and forth about fighting for the people. She calls Becky a loser coward. Bailey asks Becky if she remembers what cheers feel like. And Becky asks Bailey if she remembers what gold feels like. Ouch. Even though Bailey was champion last year, but Becky once again refuses to fight. The man doesn't fight in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Because she's wearing the Bears gear because Seth is a known Bears fan.
We got fucking John Cena saying he won't fight stuff. We got Becky saying she won't fight in certain areas. It's just,
and it's funny to an extent because remember Edge used to do that when he was in Arizona, I think. When
Yeah,
he was like, Arizona didn't recognize Martin Luther King Day. I'm not going to fight in front of these bigots.
it makes sense. It makes sense for Becky to do it in Green Bay. It does make sense for Becky to do it in Green Bay.
In a small venue like Green Bay, or Green Bay specifically, it works because, Packers and all that stuff.
Yeah, because her super hot husband is very
God. She refuses to put the title on the line, but she says, I'll see you in Columbus. And Becky throws a right, which I think either missed or Bayley just no-sold, because she immediately knocked her on her ass.
I'm fairly certain that she missed. Could have been
she has to have missed, because even if you get hit in the face not really trying to hurt someone, it doesn't feel great. It'll make you stagger. She had to have missed.
Well, then we go to the locker room with Kathy cutting a promo with your favorite star and the guy who you want the championship to be back on.
No. Because get a load of this shit. Jay says he wants the title back. He says it's basically 1-1. It's 4-1. You have lost to him 4 times. Actually, no. It's 5. He was 4-0 against you before WrestleMania. You just lost. 4 letters, 1 word, shit! What are we doing?
At least at least in his match tonight, he doesn't win King of the Ring, right?
Move on.
After that, we go backstage to AJ handing the title back to Aldis, who is filling in for
Baldy.
Adam Pearce, which Nick Aldis is fantastic. I love Nick Aldis. Anytime he can get more screen time, do it. Aldis says, hey, AJ, guess what? You got a title shot in Night of Champions.
Sure, man.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind AJ winning that match.
I wouldn't mind it. Look, I saw a tweet that said they need to take the kitty gloves off Dom here, and I agree. Let him wrestle.
Tell Dom, okay, we're giving you arguably
one of the best in-ring talents ever.
One of the best in-ring talents that we've ever been in WWE.
Go out there and hoop, young fella.
You could do it with your dad years ago.
You can
go hoop with AJ now.
And I fully believe this will be a great match, unless they do the usual Judgment Day interference, which they probably will.
I think that right now, this is a perfect time with what happens later on, which actually happens right after this, to have Finn turn on Dom. This is the perfect time to do it. Now is the time to do it. If you're going to do it.
If you're not going to do it here, if you're not going to have Finn turn here, you need to let Dominic and AJ have a good match by themselves.
Yes.
If it's not going to be Finn turning, leave the Judgment Day in the locker room.
Yes, either Finn comes out to cost Dom, or Finn does not come out at all. Correct. That's just how it needs to be.
But wait, Carlito's back.
My home run swing for this match is for JD to come out to try to help Dom, and Finn is out there to help Dom, and then Roxanne attacks JD, and then Finn doesn't actually help Dom. Finn does a thing where he slides a chair into the ring to help Dom, and AJ doesn't use it. They form a new Bullet Club.
Oh, God.
Bada bing, bada boom. We move on to Bayley coming in.
Oh, brother.
To talk to Nick all this. Nick says, hey, you have your match next week, but guess what? It's for the IC title.
Yep.
This is all setting up a triple threat. Whatever.
Evolution.
Lyra calls her over, says, hey, welcome back. Kind of ghosted me. Bayley apologized for being radio silent. I love this stick we do with wrestlers where when they're injured and not on TV, they don't communicate with anybody.
Like with Jade. Like if Bianca had texted Jade one time, and Jade could have been like, it was Naomi.
Oh, it's like, oh, you're hurt? Oh, no.
Oh, you're off the face of the map.
It's like, yeah, Jade just chilling at home. Doesn't want to text Bianca one time that the person she's next to is the one that attacked her. But
not
yeah,
even
Lyra's
a second thought
for Bayley if she wins the title. this is all leading to them having a triple threat evolution.
Hell yeah.
That's
They should.
then we get
Something that kind of
to
screws up Evolution.
arguably the worst thing that could happen for Evolution, and I think that this took the entire show out of the rest of the show.
Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan. Early in the match, Liv went down on what looked like a routine move. And it seems like she hurt her right shoulder, and she got walked off during commercial break holding her arm, and it's later reported that she dislocated her shoulder. She's going to need surgery, and she could be out potentially until next year.
Yeah,
Shit.
and then on top of that, there already have news articles of how they've had to scrap so many matches because Liv's out. And this is like earlier I was talking about how central she is to the division right now.
Yeah.
She is literally a part of
everything.
An Io feud. She's part of the Nikki feud. She's part of the Raquel with Rhea feud. She has the Judgment Day. She's a thing going on with the Roxanne. Like, she is a part of everything. And now, what do? Like, you have to scramble now. Try to, like, you could still do Raquel and Rhea, but now you have to find an opponent for Nikki. You have to find someone for Io to feud with again. It's tough. I think that they're going to try to use Roxanne to fill in on a bunch of these other spots, but Liv, and it was the most routine thing.
Yeah, I don't like people blaming Kairi Sane for this. Like, that was not intentional in the least.
No, it was a leg takedown. It was the first move in the match.
It was like a freak accident.
It was, and Liv just went down to protect herself like she normally does, and yeah, it was just a freak accident. And I think that I hope Liv get well soon. I would. She literally is gonna have one of the most insane pops when she returns. Everyone loves Liv.
Yeah,
This makes me worried for Evolution. Not because I don't think it's going to be a great show regardless of great matches, but I'm scared to see what they come up with to scramble to get matches on that show.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. Because in the last episode I did with Emil, I was talking to him about how they might run Liv and Raquel versus the Nikki sisters. But, I mean, you can't do that now.
I see a world where they have Raquel kind of befriend Roxanne more, and then they give the extra title to Roxanne, and then they do something with that.
I could see them putting Roxanne in Liv's place for a storyline purpose, because like, you told me in some messages that they were gonna just run what Liv did with Dom and put Roxanne there again. Yes.
Because it literally, I mean, it's set up. Rhea got a shoulder injury. Liv stepped in. Liv has a shoulder injury. Roxanne could step in. I don't want it to happen. I think it's what's going to happen. I think Roxanne doesn't need to be involved in that. I think Dom needs to have his own thing that's a way of women. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. They've got some solid matches set up, but right now the entire, besides IC, the Raw division, it was all centered around Liv. If you take away the IC title picture, the main championship feud had Liv in it. The tag team thing had Liv in it. The returning of Nikki Bella had Liv in it. What do you do with Nikki now? She just returned to have a match with Liv, and now you have to figure something else out. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that I think that Trips, we always get mad at Trips for how he books certain stuff. He always figures it out. So I'll be interested to see what he does.
This is possibly the worst thing that could have happened to the women's division.
Yeah, you never want to see anyone get hurt, but seeing someone who's so important, prominent, and so eccentric, who's had multiple promo shows in a row, it's just it's and with someone who's also worked so hard to get to where she's at right now, right? It's so hard to see.
Yeah, it sucks, man. We're wishing you the best. On the off chance you see this, Liv, we're wishing you the best.
We cut. Get well soon. I can't wait for you to come back. Talk about favorite blondes, Liv. I have been enjoying watching Liv, even with the Lana stuff. But hey, we'll go past that. We'll go backstage with Sammy talking to Kathy, talking about his semifinal match against Randy, and Karrion Kross steps in. calls him insane for doing the same thing over and over again, thinking of a different result. Says, "Hey, you're gonna go face
And
Randy,
you're gonna
and you're gonna
die.
lose, and you're gonna die." Um,
And you're still
Sammy
gonna
calls
have
Cross
nothing.
a coward. Sammy calls Cross a coward. All bark, no bite. And listen, Trips, have Sammy lose. I don't care. And then put these two in the ring, and I'm fine with it. Sammy talks about how as soon as King of the Ring's over, he's gonna settle this in the ring, and I am finally ready to see Karrion Kross back in the ring wrestling.
Please, just get the man in a match. He hasn't wrestled on TV since the Raw
AJ.
before WrestleMania.
Yeah, since AJ Styles, and yeah, he's still so over. His pop he gets backstage is just absolutely insane.
The bell has to ring.
Give him a match. Give him a match.
Speaking of matches, the King of the Ring qualifier. Did I not tell you exactly what was going to happen with this?
You did. You called it.
Braun pushed Jay off the top rope to stop him from splashing Bronson. Sammy comes out. He stops Braun. Braun throws him into the announcers. Penta comes out of nowhere in a leather jacket to stop Braun. But Bronson gets pushed off the top rope by LA Knight, and inevitably, Jay climbed the top rope, hit a splash, and another one, and pinned Bronson Reed for the win. Why? Why? What does this accomplish?
You gotta push Cody fighting his friends. You gotta push. There is a world, by the way. There's a world where Cody doesn't beat Jay because Cody doesn't want to hurt his friend. There is a world where that happens. I want you to prepare yourself.
Oh, buddy, get ready for Jay pitting Randy clean
and being able to face Gunther again.
Oh yeah, it's happening. It's happening.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
4 letters, 1 word. What? What?
But yeah, Raw went off the air that way with Cody not attacking Seth, just them staring at each other like they're gonna kiss. And then Cody and Jay in the semifinals. Hot take, maybe this is a stretch. I think Cody is gonna join Seth. I don't know why I got that vibe after watching Raw.
Well, hang on. I just saw something on Twitter that counteracts this. This is from a couple of reputable sources. It seems from Corey Hayes, who works with, I believe, Body Slam Net, there are 2 names possibly that have been discussed to join the Rollins faction in the future. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page.
I think Ricky Saints is not. I don't think Ricky Saints is gonna join it just because I don't think you put a face with that crew.
I've seen people. Your mic cut out.
Ethan Page is perfect for it.
Yeah, I saw people calling for Ethan to join before Bronson joined, so I wouldn't mind that.
No, I wouldn't mind that. There was also, I think I saw something on Twitter about, they're talking about how Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed were sharing like looks and like smiles with each other whenever he came and helped.
It was Braun.
So it was Braun, and so maybe Carmelo Hayes. I would be okay with Carmelo Hayes joining the faction also.
Anything to get him away from the Miz.
Obviously, this is going to lead to our War Games match, so we have to put 2 more people on with Seth's faction. And then in the other one, we got Jay, Cody, Sammy, Penta, and LA Knight. So that 5 is already there. So we got to get 2 more with Seth. I have a feeling one might be John Cena.
Oh,
God help us.
You think John Cena's gonna clock in for War Games, dude?
But yeah, we lead to the best part of the week.
NXT, baby. It was all women, it felt like, this week.
We had all of the Evolution Eliminator qualifying matches. We start off with the JC Jane video package. So she's the best champion of all time.
Like they all do.
Okay, JC, calm down a little bit.
Ease up.
Calm down a little bit.
You've defended the title once. And you cheated,
to win it.
She's going to have
the last laugh when all these women come after her. Um, JC, I'm glad you're getting your time to shine.
It's not gonna last.
Asuka literally gave up the championship because she was so bored. Okay, no one's ever gonna be better than that reign on
Well,
NXT.
I'm sure you have hopes that there's someone who's gonna be
Well,
better.
actually, let me rephrase that. There will be someone who has a better reign than that. I'm gonna go that far, say there will be, but we head into our first Evolution qualifying match.
Yeah, Thea Hale, Jada Parker, Evolution Eliminator qualifying match. Thea attacked Jada before the match even started, and it looked like Jada tapped out at the end, but the ref didn't see it. Jada hit Hypnotic and pinned Thea for the win. You
I
talked
hate
about
ref
your thoughts.
botches.
Yeah, you talked about that.
I hate ref botches. I think that they're dumb. I think that if you're a ref and you're sitting there in the ring and on the jumbotron, which they showed multiple times, you see Jada Parker tapping out. You're like, oh, I made a mistake.
That's
Never
why.
mind.
That's why last year at SummerSlam, Damian Priest looking up at the video board to see what Finn did was awesome.
It was
Because
awesome
you
because the
just see
thing
him with
is,
his hands on his hip. He's like, "What the hell happened?"
you're actually using the jumbotron. It's like we're not using the jumbotron whenever it's showing everything going on.
That was great.
Um, Yeah, it's great. I hope one day WWE's storyline with a WWE referee who literally follows the rules to a T. I think it'll
Yeah.
be hilarious. Um, Obviously Jada Parker's not gonna win the Fatal
No.
4-Way because of Thea Hale, but um, it was a good match. It was a good match. The ending kind of threw me off, but other than that, it was a great match.
Yeah. Backstage, Brigamora and Ezekiel talking about how they're going to kick Trick and First Class's ass. Hank and Tank walk in. They tell Brigamora, you guys got a title match on the other side of this. Oba walks in. He gives Jasper his props. He says he's still the ruler. Trick walks in, cackles, and he says Oba's money. Oba says his money's on the NXT boys. And then
Uh,
we get a little
and
video.
then the video package of the biggest blessing that we've ever had in WWE in a long time.
All right, bro.
Blake Monroe on her way to Studio and sign her contract. I think everyone should just take a second, just close your eyes, and be so thankful that we are getting a WWE world where Blake Monroe, formerly Mariah May, formerly Sexy Dynamite Princess,
What?
is. You don't know that part about her?
What?
So when she was in oh my god, I think it was Ring Stardom. Her quote unquote name, because she was with the Club Venus. Her quote unquote, she came out in a mask, and
Oh
her
my
name,
god.
name was Sexy Dynamite Princess.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's
It
incredible.
was absolutely fantastic. I love Mariah May. I was such a fan of her when she was at NXT UK. I was a fan of her when she was at Stardom. Um,
She was in
Everyone
NXT
just,
UK.
yeah, like at the very beginning of her career, she was in NXT UK. Um,
Are we sure? I know
yeah,
she.
100%.
I know she tried out, but
She made her in ring debut at WWE NXT UK against Nina Samuels, I believe. As I looked all this up when she finally came back, so I remembered her trying out and not making it, but I didn't know she was actually in WWE NXT UK until I went back to because I remember watching her in Stardom, and I remember that her whole stick was she tried out for WWE at one point and didn't make it, but apparently she had wrestled in NXT UK.
weird. I didn't know that.
But everyone just needs to close their eyes and appreciate that she's finally on that television. She's at WWE. That's all there is to it.
Anyway, Kalani Jordan versus Lash Legend, the second Evolution Eliminator match. Lash got the knees up for Lonnie's 450. Hit her with a lash extension for the win. Enough said.
I don't think anyone believed for a second that Connie Jordan was going to win this match.
And it's nothing on Kalani, but just like they
No.
released Jakara Jackson, they're gonna push Lash as a single star.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Lash Legend is just an absolute powerhouse. I don't see a world where she ever actually loses to Kalani Jordan. Maybe it's just because they haven't booked Kalani as like a super scary force, in my opinion, such as for like Last Legend. But it was a good match. Um, Last Legend just needs to be pushed to the moon. Let
Yeah.
her, let her, let her be great. Um, and then we're getting more of the D'Angelo family stuff. Um, Luca's on the phone, runs into Tony. Tony says that they've had enough. We're gonna go to the ring. We can't talk backstage. Let's go to the ring
Yeah, we
first.
got to talk in front of the people.
Absolutely hilarious.
And in the ring,
Um,
He's like, I know about being stabbed in the back. Stack stabbed me in the back. Rizzo's hiding. Luca got clipped, or so he thought. I'm assuming that's the PG way of saying he got shot in the desert. All he wants from Luca is trust and loyalty. He calls Luca out here to talk man to man. Luca says, dude, I'm not lying to you. I got zip tied, tossed into a trunk, and then they let me go. They said it was my lucky day. And then Stax took his phone and left him in the middle of nowhere. And Tony asks, can I trust you? Luca says he can. Tony says, why didn't you help me? He says he should have. Tony tells Luca, look me in the eye and tell me if you're with Stax. Luca looks him dead in the eyes. And before he can answer, Stax's music hits with his white-shirted goons. He calls Tony pathetic. He rescued Luca from the desert. And Tony is like, you mother... I knew it! Tony attacks the goons. Stax jumps in. Luca goes to hit Stax, but he wipes out Tony instead.
and once again, we're gonna go back to what I said earlier in the show. Just watch the jumbotron, and you would see Luca trying to attack Stax. But we can't do that. That's too complicated.
I mean, we're gonna see this later in the show. That he does. That's not gonna have mattered either way. But
No.
yeah. Anyway.
Then we get the locker room with First Class. Casey's hurt, so he can't wrestle. AJ's are like, I got a solution, and walks Wesley. Some hesitation, but they all go with it. Talk about money, money, money.
Money, money, money.
It was okay. It was just a typical little promo to bring Wesley in. Nothing special.
Yeah. Set up their match for tonight. Then we got Chase U. Kale and Uriah are finally on time and trying to be good students. And Kale kept trying to raise his hand. Andre kept cutting him off. He said, Chase U doesn't adjust to you. You adjust to Chase U. You don't just learn. You have to fucking get tough. And then Kale and Uriah pack up their shit and leave. What?
We're killing off Chase U when it just came back. That's all there is to it.
I don't even think that I don't think that they're gonna kill it off. I just think that they don't
know what to do with it.
The party boys thought this was a party school, and it's not.
I'm kind of just in question of where Chase U's at right now. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm brought back next week, but I'm just not as invested into Chase U, Chase U, like I was previously.
I think once they get some like newer talent in there, some younger guys, they're gonna figure it out. But I don't know what they're doing with Kale, Dixon, and Uriah right now.
I don't think they know what to do with them right now, so they're just trying to fill them in with someone until they can figure it out. But then we get another backstage promo. Ethan with the Evolve champions, swipe right. Ricky walks in and whispers because he's supposed to have a hurt larynx.
I love
how
it.
he's gonna get his get back. Jackson Drake says staying in the way. Sean TV comes Adonis. Asks Ricky why he's so angry. Talk about these numbers game, but everyone left him when he started talking smack, and so he had no backup. And yeah, it was just basically. I think the rumors that Ricky was going to get brought up to the main roster are getting squashed now. I think he's still with NXT for a little bit longer, but it's all right. I mean, a lot of these backstage promos are good, but this was a women's heavy thing where it was like, hey, we're doing Evolution qualifier matches tonight. So
get out of here, boys.
To anything. None of these led anything to this week. And then that's why we got Oba just walking in saying my money's on the NXT boys.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of like, hey guys.
As nice as I can put this, the guys could not matter less right now.
Yes, so the guys, they just start giving them promos to push other things. So it was like, we got a lot of promos that were kind of just like, oh, we'll figure this out next
Was
week.
there a men's match this week?
Yeah, the tag match was this week.
That's right.
And then we got another backstage promo with Javon and NQCC. Tavian doesn't want to be in the group. Javon versus Tavian for Tavian to leave the group. And
Ren tried to pull Chuck into a hug. I know they call him Charles or Charlie, but I like calling him Chuck.
Okay, like that's what? How many promos that in a row?
It's 1,
basically
2,
there was
3, 4, 5, kind of.
We could have had one men's match during all these promos. Like, I get, like, it's whatever. Like, I digress. We actually have a men's match next.
Yeah, Elijah. I realize now that I called him Ezekiel earlier in the script. It's Elijah and Briggs and Inamura versus Wesley, Trick, and AJ. Elijah sings his song before everyone enters. Walk with Elijah. AJ went to do the dive. He pulled up. He was like, I got y'all. I loved that, man. Flop dollar, flies no more. This was legitimately a bathroom match, though. I went to the bathroom during this match.
It didn't do anything for me at all. All it served was to push maybe Wes and Trick feuding because Wes ended up taking out Trick.
Yeah, he dove off the buckle and he hit him.
I could not have cared less about this match.
I did like seeing Inamura pin Trick, though. I
did. I think they're gonna push Inamura. But then again, this led to one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a long time. This is bringing back Cody giving The Rock his Royal Rumble shit.
Oof.
Could not have cared less about this match. Could not have cared less. I mean, you had a slot for a men's match, and this is the men's match you chose. I was very disappointed. I think that as much as I like seeing women getting their char and their shining, and they should have been a central point of the show, this was not. You got to still let your men talent shine because you have good men talent on NXT. And you didn't even. All we saw of Obo was a quick walk by saying, "I got money." I think that. I think they've done an issue with taking so long to do these Evolution qualifiers. I think if you would have done it where like 2 were last week, 2 were this week, it would have made the show feel a little better. But yeah, I digress. We're going back to backstage promos now.
Well, now we got a depressing scene.
Yeah, we got Zarya and Soul walking forward. Tatum looked like she wanted to talk to the girls, but they didn't see her. They kind of just walked right past her.
Yeah, she walked up with her doll. She looked so sad. And I feel silly when I say this because that is a grown woman.
It is a grown woman, but she is playing her character very well.
She is 28 years old, man.
She's 28 years old. She's actually a crazy little lunatic, but she plays her character very well. She does look so sad.
And it gets worse.
Dude, it's so depressing. It's so depressing.
God, the GMs, Ava with her assistants, Stone and Stevie were arguing about Evolve. She opens her door to see Tony and Luca arguing. Tony's yelling about loyalty. Ava says, I can't give Luca a match versus Stax. And he accuses her of working with Stax. So I think it's very clear he doesn't care what would have been on the video board. He wouldn't have bought it anyway.
No, Tony is...
And she was like, Ava literally looked at him. She's like, are you serious, dude? Come on. Be fucking for real. But yeah, Stax has a match with Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup next week. And Tony's pissed about this whole thing.
Yeah, it's something about how his consigliere signed off on it, and so...
And Tony I love Luca immediately putting his hands up like, wasn't me, I swear to God.
The whole Stax turning on Tony was such a good thing.
And it's taken too long.
They haven't done a good job after the turn. I'm curious to see who the consigliere is. It's obviously going to lead to a tag match. It's obviously going to lead to Luca turning on Tony, and then Tony's going to bring up some Evolve guys to form his new family. Oh well. I mean, I was super. I love Tony and I love Stacks. I love Luca. I was super excited for all this. My excitement has died off because it's taking too long for all this stuff. I need Sean to not do long term storytelling
We
like
were
Triple H.
we
I can
were
only handle it
fairly
on month.
confident Luca was dead for like a month. What are we doing?
Yes. Um. Then we get another evolution eliminator: Zarya versus Izzy.
Oh
It was a
man.
great match all around. Zarya looks like Zarya looks awesome. She literally is just. Izzy honestly looks awesome too. Both good match. Tatum comes out, wants to give a hug to Soul to watch the match, and Soul let out a scream like someone was stabbing her on
Right.
repeat to death.
Scream Queen.
Zarya gets shocked. Izzy works up the distraction and ends up getting the win. Um, Soul is like, what are you doing, Tatum? Like, 'cause obviously, if you hug someone from behind, it's gonna be a little shocking. Um,
She just wants a friend.
absolutely, absolutely leads to another great backstage promo. Somehow, some way, we had about 15 million men's promos, and the promo with Tatum, Izzy, Zarya, and Soul was the best promo the entire night.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is.
Yeah. Uh
Oh
Back.
wait, never mind. It
Yep,
wasn't the.
there's still a little bit more.
Yeah.
Skipping ahead. Brigham Mora backstage. This was the part you didn't like. Briggs tells Inamura, dude, you
No.
deserve an TNA title match. And Inamura says, nah, you can have it. Because we'll get Briggs as TNA champ and Inamura as NXT champ. Sure, bro.
Dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like,
Sure, bro.
sure, bro. It's this is not need a promo segment at all. If you would have been like, yeah, Briggs is going for TNA and Amore is going for NXT. Like, number one, Inamura just pinned the TNA champion. So why would he face the TNA champion? I digress. It's just
Whatever.
a lot of. Then we get the final evolution eliminator match of Lola Vice versus Jordan Grace.
Good God.
It was ugly.
Dude,
These
it was
two.
great ugly, though.
It was great ugly. It was. It was. When I say ugly, I mean
It
it
was
was
real.
just. It was real. Like Lola Vice looked like she was beating the shit out of
Right.
Jordan Grace.
I saw a tweet that said Jordan Grace goes out there with a face full of makeup and it's gone in 5 minutes.
I mean, and hats off to the women. They did that. This was a great match. Lola Vice. I mean, obviously, Lola Vice lost. Like, I don't think anyone thought that Jordan Grace was going to lose another match. She's probably going to be the one that ends up winning to go face. I already forgot her name. JC Jane
There
for
you go.
at Evolution. But yeah, so it's set. And it's next week, right? We get the Fatal 4-Way of Last Legend, Izzy
Yes.
Dame, Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace. That is the four we're gonna get. I don't think
You don't think?
there's anyone wins but Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace just wins this flat out.
We'll see. More importantly, backstage, Tatum is crying, and she's apologizing while Zarya yells at her. And then Izzy walks in. She instigates shit. She says, they left you out of your TikToks. I would never do that. Bro.
It is.
Bro. Come on.
What kind of promo are we doing where it's like, oh yeah, don't be friends with them because they
left
didn't
you
do
out
a
of their
TikTok
TikToks.
with you.
I wouldn't do that.
Unbelievable. This is like, it wasn't bad, only because the ending. The ending is the only reason why I have no problem with this promo. But anyway,
because Tatum walks off, and one Blake Monroe walks forward.
oh my god!
And I'll just take,
anytime she's on my freaking television screen, I can care less about everything else going on.
Then there's a Heritage Cup package. This title just dead ass hasn't mattered since Lexus King won it off Charlie Dempsey. Noam Dar's had it 4 times. He plans on keeping his name on the cup after his match versus Stacks next week. And we got some matches set for next week. We got Briggs versus Trick for the TNA title. Noam Dar versus Stax for the Heritage Cup. And then the Eliminator Fatal 4-Way to determine who's going to Evolution. And Panda, go nuts.
Okay, we get the best part about the whole show. Obviously, you saved the best for last. Obviously, you saved the greatest thing on NXT for the very last part of the show. Blake Monroe's contract signing. She comes out and hits with one of the best hits, and off the bat, it's just like we're gonna see how well the gay stuff is gonna stick. Talked about how this is the best women's division and how she wants to hop in bed with a lot of the talent. Um, we can do Edge and Lita Steve's all of them if we want to. Got no problem doing that. She calls her shot. That she is gonna be that's the time for her to take over the division. Gets out her big pink glamorous pin to sign her contract, and of course, out comes Fatal Influence. JC kind of being like, Ava, why are you kissing Blake's ass? Like, I'm here. Like, she's just another flavor of the month. Like, JC, I'm sorry, Blake Monroe is like the flavor of every month. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
You want to kiss her ass?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Bro would not be let backstage.
No, I would lay in a puddle face down just so she could walk over me and not get wet. Yes.
But here's the question. Here's the question. If Alexa Bliss and Blake Monroe asked you to go with them, but you could only go with one of them,
it would be Blake Monroe in a heartbeat.
Really?
Oh, dude, I love Mariah May so much.
Hmm.
I love Mariah. As much as I love Alexa Bliss, I love Mariah May. I am a big Mariah May fan. I have been since watching her in Stardom. And then her and AEW is just, yeah. It is just, yeah. Calls the Fatal Influence bunch insecure bitches. Jay says the division doesn't need her. Yes, it does, very much so. If you guys don't want to be appreciative of Blake Monroe being on NXT, we can just send her to the main roster. Got no problem doing that. Blake asked JC's ever tried this one, Dexter, and they end up introducing Blake Monroe the same way she went out in AEW by putting her through a table, and Fatal Influence stands tall.
And I proposed an interesting situation to you in the Discord.
You did.
Wherein a match is made for next week, potentially. Blake Monroe versus JC Jane for the NXT title. And it solves the issue of keeping Blake Monroe off of the Evolution card.
I think that unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. Probably I have a feeling that they're going to do something where Blake is going to find someone to team up with, and Blake is going to face the other part of Fatal Influence while JC faces Jordan. I'm assuming Jordan wins. That is my guess. I don't think there is any way you don't put Blake on Evolution after her finally showing up. I just don't think that's going to happen. So we will see what they end up doing with that. But overall, I'm not going to lie. I didn't think that it was a great week of wrestling for WWE. Maybe the whole Liv injury took a lot of the wind out of my sails because of how devastating that is. I felt like SmackDown was a really good show, and then Raw and NXT did not live up to SmackDown.
Yeah, it was rough. I think NXT was good. Raw was downtrodden by Goldberg and Liv getting hurt.
Yes.
But it was there have been worse weeks of WWE TV, I'll tell you that.
There have been worse weeks. I think we're hitting that part that we get with every single time with Trips, where his 2 weeks before pay-per-views. Because Night of Champions is next Saturday, right? Or is it this Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Yeah, so his first few weeks before pay-per-views are always always worse than the rest of his match, rest of the weeks. And we're hitting that point again where I just think that maybe it's just maybe there's trying to do too much. I don't know. I really think that it was more or less just seeing Gunther and his knees trying to walk down the ramp and then
Goldberg.
Liv getting hurt. Yeah, going Goldberg. My bad, not Gunther. And then Liv getting hurt just took a lot of the wind out of my sails for this week.
Yeah, I don't think you can completely blame him, but you can't not blame him at all either.
No, but overall, I mean, there have been worse weeks.
Yeah. Any other additional talking points you want to add on?
Um, I'm I'm excited to see where. I think my main thing is like a lot of what happened this week has got me excited for this next week because we're getting a lot of the stuff finally tying in. Like I'm excited to watch all of these semifinal matches for men's and women's. Excited to see what they do with Blake Monroe and JC Jane now, and like there's a lot of storylines um, that I think that I'm excited to see and we're building towards, but I think it's more or less uh, it was just an average week for me. I don't really have anything else to go off of other than that.
Yeah, check that tweet I just sent you.
Yeah, see, this is freaking like I'm so happy for her. Like this is all she's ever wanted to do, and the fact and she's putting in the work.
Yeah, for those curious, it's a photo, and I just sent him a video Triple H posted to his Twitter of him talking with talent at the PC, and it's Blake Monroe is in there, and she looks so happy.
I think this is like why like the Blake Monroe stuff just I'm so excited for because she literally has came out and said that it's been her dream to be a part of WWE, and I think she had a small stint, but she's finally there. She's finally when you see someone who's been working so hard to get to a certain point, and they finally have hit that point. It's I enjoy watching. I enjoy seeing people finally get to do what they want to do and like what they love.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the reasons why I've been such a big fan of Mariah for such a long time is because she, even though, like a lot of people, like when they go to take their dream job or their dream spot and then it doesn't work out, they just maybe don't try as or don't give up. And she worked her ass off to get to where she's at now. And so I'm, I'm very excited to see what they do with her. I don't think you keep her on NXT for very long. I think you just have her win the title real quick, then she can drop it, get her on the main roster as soon as possible. My dream match is still her and Tiffany Stratton. I will die on that hill. I need to see Barbie versus Barbie. It will be freaking fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna end this show before Panda explodes all over himself. Thank you everybody for tuning into another episode of the No Stipulations podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on our different social media accounts. And for the time being, I'm Logan, that's Andrew. Say bye, Andrew.
See you guys later.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.